Good afternoon. This is Speak On It. And this segment is for the Chicago West Side Heroin Task Force. And we'll be doing this for the next so many weeks. And today we want to look at a piece that we put together way back in the day. I know you can't see it, but it's all right. It says, "Dope kills hope." And we used to go into schools and we would tell kids that smoking marijuana would kill 3,000 brain cells off the top. Last week you heard State Rep. LaShawn Ford say that a person's brain really is developing up until about age 24. And now Chicago Public Schools are saying that they will not really punish students too harshly if they come to school high on dope because they self-medicating. Drunk is a skunk. They self-medicating. High on pills and heroin. They self-medicating. So when we say dope kills hope, we wondering what happened to the brain of adults. Because if you know that the young person's brain was not fully developed until 24, why are you making it appear that it's okay for the young person to come to school out of his mind? And then you have the audacity to say that that young person is self-medicating. That's how we're going to look at what we look at tonight, self-medicating. When do a drug become dope? And why do it become dope? And that's part of what was happening on the west side of Chicago, where you had over 202 people to die in one season. 202, and a year before then, only 5. That's because of the fact that people began to make excuses. And then you elect a governor, and now you got all these political dope dealers running around talking about marijuana. It's cool. I ain't gonna get in that. I ain't doing it. But who knows? Hell, I keep living. I might start smoking a joint or two every now and then. I don't know. They say it's all right for old folk. And I ain't quite got to be an old folk yet, but I don't think it's gonna hurt my brain too much because this bad boy pretty solid. But the bottom line is this. Show the piece with these little sweet tarts, these pretty pills. They got some pretty pills, boy. And these pills showed young people, and they was being used to entice young people to do heroin, fentanyl, all type of death was in these pills. Pretty pills. But the pills was killing people. And once again, there are those out there that will play upon the curiosity of people, especially children. And one of the things that LaShawn Ford and the West Side Heroin Task Force is trying to do is raise the awareness so that people will stop dying. And they are trying to set it up so that you can understand that there's help. Now you see this cat? Okay, that's cool. This cat here you see, he's a cool cat. And most of us get in trouble trying to be that cool cat. But I want you to watch what happens to this cat. Old boy's just chewing on a little marijuana. But he's stunting. He thought it was catnip. He didn't think it was going to do him no harm. But check what happens to this cat, cool cat. And this is all of you cool cats, watch this stunt. That's you. So that'll lead you to something else. See there? Can't hit the mark. And you wondering, is that a drug? Now check his face. So you don't see yourself. But that's the cool cat. And that's what we want you to understand. What's cool, cat, might not be as cool as you think. So your children and you, that buy into the story that young people, and that's who I'm talking about tonight, young people can self-diagnose and die. And grown folks, so-called practitioners, are stupid enough to say they are self-medicating. You gonna tell me that a kid done did some K2 out of his mind, and the principal gonna say, oh, he was just self-medicating? Yeah, okay. The preacher gonna say, he was just self-medicating. The parents are gonna say, oh, it was my stash. So now if the parent is already out there with a dope disorder, now the principal has got a dope disorder, the preacher and the politician are pimp disorder. So what do we do with our young people? We just allow them to continue to die by being the cool cat. And they said the curiosity killed the cat. Now let's stop right here and look at this pill here. Now I want you to look at this here. Those are little sweet tarts I was telling you about. I mean, just look at them. They look sweet. You can taste them. What they are is laced. That's heroin. Laced in all type of killing substance. But yet, we say it's self-medication. Well, I'd imagine that people that live in these drug-infested areas that are not partaking of that culture, they see a lot of sick people. But it'll be like they got going on right now in Chicago, over on Pulaski Road at the library. I can't remember the name of the library. They out there picking up needles. The mayor be over there tomorrow. I don't know if she's going to pick up no needles or not. I ain't going to pick up no needles, but I'm going to go over there and just, show up. So part of what we need to understand is this. We make excuses, but the excuses are escapes because we don't want to confront the situation. Now, we're going to look at a piece here. This is Chicago, West Side. And I would just want you to look at it a little bit. Many of you all have seen it. And we're going to let it play for a little while so it can soak in. Because the objective of this process actually is to bring awareness. And at some point, we will have people here that we can refer you to if you need assistance in dealing with your challenge. But let's just look at this little clip and just put your mind into it, y'all.
All right, so we already got the 5 and 2 are up and running. So you got more than the original one?
Yeah, you got 7 people.
They're turning up down over here, and people are avoiding at that, so.
They said it was 5 people, but it's 7.
Clear with me.
No, when you find out where 15's going, let me know. I show you on 52 to Norwegian. I don't show anything with 15 going anywhere.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
All right, y'all. They wouldn't let me around the corner to record, so I'm right here. They said it was 5 people. Now they stating that it's 7 people, possibly more. 7 people, possibly more, all just overdosed. Same time, Chicago Avenue and Holman.
1142? Oh. Your radio's really muffled.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's an 11 insinuating sign to assist the police at 4401 West Fulton. Slow it down for 1142 on the scene, 11th District Station clear. 6515 David.
Well, you get the flavor. You see, this is real, man. And if you live in the hood or you travel through the hood, you know how real it is. But even back, that poster you see up there, even back in the day, and we didn't know we would be doing this show this day and this time. We was working under the Chicago Intervention Network under the Harold Washington Initiative back in the day. And over in Cabrini Green, we had some young people. And we engaged them in self-expression through art. And this piece you see in the background, which will be on this show from now on, was done in 1989. And these youngsters went to Byrd and Schiller Elementary School. And what you see them, they came up with the idea. Don't use your hands to dig your own grave. Think. These were children. They grown and got kids now. But they had enough sense to know that that big old pipe, glass pipe, and that silhouette of Gedi, the caller of death, and that shock, they knew. You understand? That's what they felt. That's what they articulated. They didn't go to a book. Those kids drew that out of their experience. And here we are, I don't know, almost 30-some odd years later. And the same condition is in our community that those young people expressed in their art back then. But yet you tell me that they are only self-medicating. Well, I hope this new mayor got more sense than that. Yeah, I said that. I hope she got enough sense to tell the Board of Education and all these other pimp so-called professionals to stop telling kids and making excuses that when they do dope, when they steal the drugs out of their mama or grandmama's cabinet, you need to tell them that those pills are opioid pills. Although those pills was meant for some of that arthritis. Sometimes it was meant for lupus. But when a person get hold to it and get addicted and they can't get it anymore, then they go to a different street level substitute called heroin. And then it's laced with what? Rat poison and all other type of death elements. So we need to understand, and I think we want to come back just so you can hear a little bit of the ambulance again on Chicago and Homer. I want you to be able to understand this here. I like for it to be in your ear, in your face, because I don't think you get it. I really don't. I don't think you really get how serious this epidemic is. Anytime in 2017 you can have 5 people die in that area. And then in 2018 you got 202. That means something is real crazy. They know that people are dying. But the more they see drop, the more they want to drop. So they get a drop. And it's just like that pipe. Next thing you know, they done dug a hole with their own hand. Now you got to figure out whether you're going to claim them at the morgue or not. You know you ain't got no money, and now you done got all slick, and you know if you don't go down there and claim him, then they'll eventually do something with him, put him out there in some hole somewhere, maybe just burn him up and throw him away. Just don't throw him in the water supply. I hope. Otherwise he'll be growing gators and shit, and we'll be out here getting caught up ourselves. But anyhow, I see we got a caller, so caller gone. Speak on it.
Yeah, how you doing, dog?
How you doing, James?
Okay, like I'm saying, the media, like they trying to use Chopper for a scapegoat. He's not the one doing this. Like I said about a week ago, I'm not the one to blame. It's the governor and the rest of these some of the politicians. They the ones be doing that. The people in the media.
All right, James. Appreciate you sharing that. You know what you're talking about connects because everything is relevant. And I think one of the things we have to understand is that the more people are confused in society, the more likely they are to dip into death. And sometimes I think we just have to understand a lot of people are, I don't want to say they are born prone to certain things, but I guess you could say they are. If their mom and daddy was alcoholic, what else can they be? They can struggle, and they might not be one. But damn, if the blood in your mama's vein, in your daddy's sperm, is more alcohol and dope than it is wholesome blood, what is this little creature gonna be? He gonna be you. He gonna be a clone. Now, if you got cocaine, and they tell you here, right here, they says, and the sadness is, this cocaine thing, babies of cocaine addicted mothers are 21 times more likely to die than those that are not. So these people doing this dope knowing that they will probably have a baby that ain't gonna make it. And they got a whole lot of stuff down here about cocaine. But let me just back up a little bit, and I'm coming to you, caller. They would say one reefer kills 3,000 brain cells. You lose 20% of intelligence. Takes 30 to 49 days to leave a male body and 90 days to leave a female body. Now, that's interesting. 80% of those smoking reefer will consider committing suicide. 65% will try. That's that cool cat. You out here thinking you doing catnip and you getting nipped. All right, caller, speak on it.
Yes, Doc. This is Steve.
How you doing,
And listen,
Steve?
I'm doing much better.
Good,
I'm
sir.
still going to therapy, so just in case somebody hear me say something wrong, don't hesitate. Please ask me to repeat it.
Okay.
I try to do it a little bit better. You said something very interesting at the beginning of the show. The school don't care. The ministers don't care. The doctors don't care. The parents don't care. If we have learned to live like this, nobody cares what your kid do. It's sad enough as it is that the neighborhood don't care. Now you want to legalize reefer. You want to already legalize alcohol. Legalizing opioids, you get pills all day long. It seems like sometimes we don't need other people to tell us what not to do. We have as people, we have to have some gut sense, good sense. Do I want to be like that cat? Well, kind of jump on the bed, booger ass, and things of that nature.
See, can we get the cat back?
Get in your car and just drive to a corner and look. So again,
Don't do it like that, man. Get up.
you see what I'm saying? Who want to be like that? Who in the heck want to be like that? We have choices in our life. I was really blessed in my life, and I teach my younger kids, try to be, don't be like me, but try to be like somebody instead of being like the ones you just showed. It makes sense to be straight than be a fool. I could be straight and live in a garbage can, or I could get real smart and have me a house. So we make choices in our life. Doc, I always say, you and Bozy, Red, all of y'all did a good show. It's so good to see you back and making some sense to people. And again, I will always look for you. I'm sorry about my voice, but something we must say, and this is a must for me. M-U-S-T, the most biggest word in the dictionary. That's something you got to do. You don't think you got to do it. So listen, Doc, let me get up there. Thanks for calling. Let me hear your response. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Steve. As we go to this video here, we're going to have the guests come in. And
Get up, man.
ain't that Mr. Cummings out there?
Hey, man.
I guess not. So let's go on back to this. Part of what happens is this. The truth of the matter is we had a guest coming, and I thought we had him out here, but I see he ain't. So the bottom line is, but let me say this, Steve. You know, yes, you have a challenge, but I think you hear it more than anybody else. Because if you didn't tell me you had that challenge, I really wouldn't know. And the only thing I'm going to do is just drop a little seed. I know you know you got your own way of cultivating. Brother, just do you. If a person don't have the patience to decipher, that's on them. But don't apologize for the challenge. Just know that champions win. And if you don't tell them, they might not never know. Now, we're going to go into something else on this particular situation. Now, I basically have been looking at this West Side heroin opioid task force. And I see a lot of agencies that are involved. And once again, one of the things that we hope to do is have some of those Caucasian agencies to come in here and sit here. Not to put them on blast, no. but because they're the ones that seem to have the services. Huh? Can you understand? They're the ones that say that in order to talk to people with substance challenges in our communities, we got to be licensed by them, the Caucasian. Understand? We got to be certified by them, the Caucasian. Feel me? So, 70 years later, the people that put the dopes, children and grandchildren, are back in our communities, telling us and redefining for us how we help us. And that's back to what Steve said. We need to stop letting other people define for us. An example, and I know some people are going to be a little sensitive, but I not care. That's on you. But I'm going to make a point of it. Somatics. So I was at a meeting, and the person said, and I talking about LaShawn Ford, he said it last week, but I understand what he said. But this little white girl, probably wasn't older than about 26, she made her little presentation, and what the little gal said is this. She said, you can't say no to drugs now. And then the little indication, the N-O, because of da-da-da-da-do-da. You have to say K-N-O-W to drugs. Get the hell out of here. Ain't nobody out here trying to figure out what they taking. You have to say no to drugs because dope kills hope. The hell you gonna sit here and play with somatics? Don't say no, say K-N-O-W. That's like don't say nigga, say the N-word. I said that. Y'all need to stop being silly. Just because you say the N-word, they still know you calling them what? A coon. But do you really think that coon start with an N? Do you really think that don't say no starts with a K? Wake up. Because what we are doing are enabling our children and outsiders to dig graves with us, but using our own hands as the shovel. So that piece you see in the back, but old schools, I don't even think Schiller and Bird still exists in Cabrini. But back in those days, Jane Byrne and others, after Harold Washington, them people, a lot went on. But I hear this new man, she talking about doing some things, and I salute her. This summer she got them kids out there sweating and stinking up the joint. With all them damn highlighter, safe passage, clowning looking vests. You don't know who's what. All type of people up in that demonstration. But at least it's back to the NYC, Neighborhood Youth Corps. Give them a broom, give them a rake, give them a shovel. Make them clean up behind themselves. Then maybe they'll tell their old silly mama and grandmama and granddaddy and them to stop littering up the place. So I commend the man on that. And that's a good thing. So understand this here. Kids are not self-medicating. They're digging their own graves with their own hands. So until next week, I'm sure you can dig that I got to get up out of here. Is it time to go? Or do I just sit here and keep kicking it? So I'm going to get up out of here because I understand I got about a minute. So one of the things you need to do is, go on my Facebook page. You can find me at Lincoln Ashford. I know that don't sound like Dr. Kofi Malik, but I got to keep my government name. Hell, I ain't no fool. You think I'm going to go around here playing with these white folk? Hell no. White folks ain't paying no attention to nobody talking about himself, Dr. Kofi Malik, and they get ready to roll on you. Who they looking for? Yeah, I done told you. So if you want to look for it, you'll be able to get more information on what's happening here. So, we just understand this. We're going to do this. We're going to talk about the West Side Heroin Task Force until it becomes something that the community is talking about. Because we are tired of our children, our uncles, our fathers, our grandmothers digging their own graves with their own hands.